Yes. Croeso gynnes iawn. Croeso gynnes iawn pawb. Today we've got an open board meeting to consider our final accounts. I'd like to welcome everybody, particularly Angie, who's here because our Director of Workforce and Organisational Development, Helen Watkins, is on holiday. And I've also got apologies from Judith Hardesty, and Lisa will be here for part of the meeting. She has to attend important meetings outside. Are there any declarations of interest that are pertinent to today's agenda that have not already been declared? No. Oh, thank you very much. I'd like you to go to the draft minutes of the board meeting held on the 29th of May 2025. Has everybody read those minutes? Are there any issues of accuracy you wish to raise? Thank you. Could you please go to the action log from the board meeting held on the 29th of May? Can I ask you to note the actions? And now if we go back to the draft minutes of the board meeting held on the 29th of May, are there any issues you wish to raise as a matter today? No. Are you Glyn?
Just very quickly on the action log, I think there's a typo there. It should say framework updated to include section on evaluation methodology. So this is under the performance management framework action. It says field work, but it should actually say framework.
Very good. Very good. Can you sort the gobbledygook then? Yeah. Okay. So with that agenda, are you happy for me to sign off the minutes? Thank you very much. All right. So integrated medium-term plan, Glyn.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. Just a very brief introduction. The board will be aware that we submitted our IMTP back in March, and part of producing the plan was to also produce a short video that explains the IMTP. This is also a requirement in the Welsh Government planning guidance. So it's a 10-minute video that I think I'm going to pass over to somebody to play to the board and members watching so they can see the IMTP video.
Shemai, hello. My name is Alex Howells and I am the Chief Executive of Health, Education and Improvement Wales. We are the strategic workforce organisation and the statutory education body for NHS Wales. And we do this through a range of functions which include workforce planning, workforce intelligence, careers and attraction, leadership development and talent management, and education and training across many, many health professions. Our people are our most valuable asset in the NHS, and our job is to work with our partners, particularly our NHS colleagues, to develop a skilled and sustainable workforce that is motivated and engaged to improve care for patients and the health of our population. In this short video, we are going to share what we're going to do about this in the next 1 to 3 years through our integrated medium-term plan, which all NHS organisations have to produce on an annual basis. Our plan in HEIW supports the delivery of the workforce strategy for health and social care in Wales, and this was published in 2020. And our plan also responds to the Welsh Government's remit letter, which sets out the Cabinet Secretary's requirements for 2025-26. The plan has been developed to make sure that we make the best use of the financial allocation we receive from Welsh Government, recognising that money is extremely tight in the NHS at the moment, and requiring us to be as imaginative as possible to deliver added value. HEIW's allocation this year is around £365 million. 85% of that we spend on education and training. Although we have seen the NHS workforce increase over recent years, there are still challenges and deficits in key areas, as well as a constant increase in demand on health services from an ageing population and a population which is experiencing a growing level of chronic conditions. But we also need to recognise that there are lots of opportunities to work differently and to transform how we work and deliver care. For example, by developing the workforce models and skills that we need to focus on prevention and delivering care closer to home. Another area is closer integration with new digital solutions and technological advancements. These are critical to the safety and quality of care and can release many benefits for our workforce as well. We have identified 8 key areas of work for the next few years to take this forward. Our first priority is to develop national workforce solutions that support productive and good quality health services, with a particular focus on access to care. Waiting lists, bottlenecks in care pathways and delays are a key concern for patients and staff alike, and workforce issues are often a contributory factor. This could include clinic appointments, operations, cancer treatment, as well as urgent and emergency care. So our plan includes a number of projects targeted at improvements in our diagnostic workforce models, such as endoscopy, our theatre staffing and skills, the future development of cancer specialist nurses, and competence frameworks for end-of-life and palliative care and urgent care. A new area of work for us in the coming year will be to support the Women's Health Plan with a focus on education, training and skills development. Priority 2 is about how we transform the workforce from one which is focused mainly on hospital services to supporting preventative and place-based healthcare. We will maintain the progress we have made in improving the training for all of our independent contractor professions and ensuring that there are more placement opportunities in primary care for doctors, nurses and allied health professionals during their initial training. Working closely with Public Health Wales and the Strategic Programme for Primary Care, we will be continuing to expand the role of the primary and community care academies who are supporting development of the wider professional teams, as well as implementing other important actions in the Strategic Workforce Plan for Primary Care. Education and training is at the heart of what we do in HEIW and is the basis of Priority 3. This will include implementing the Education and Training Commissioning Plan for 25-26, which includes undergraduate programmes, working closely with our Welsh universities, as well as postgraduate training, which often operates as part of a UK system. Securing good recruitment and fill rates, minimising attrition, and ensuring that students and trainees have a great training experience in Wales are a fundamental part of our day-to-day work. As healthcare needs change, we're also building new, modern education models that respond to these changes, with more flexible, work-based learning and new technologies like simulation and virtual reality to speed up the training process. Next year, this will include the development of an NHS Wales Clinical Skills and Simulation Academy, as well as continued development and rollout of the Bwrdd e-learning platform. Alongside this, we are also doing some work on a future-focused education strategy, which will need to reflect that the shape of care and the shape of work is changing at pace. We plan to open more doors too, whether you're just starting out or changing careers. From apprenticeships to degree pathways, we are going to be making careers in healthcare more accessible and inclusive. Priority 4 recognises the need to evolve the roles within our workforce and multi-professional teams in response to changes in need and service requirements. For example, we will be working with Welsh Government helping to introduce the new Registered Nursing Associate role, which will expand and strengthen the skill mix to support our registered nurse workforce. We will need to support implementation of the findings from the National Leng Review into Physicians Associates and Anaesthesia Associates, and will continue our work to introduce the Clinical Associate in Applied Psychology within our psychological therapy services. All of these new roles need to be introduced with the right focus on safety and with the right training, supervision and planning. Our 5th priority focuses on how we're making sure the NHS workforce is ready to embrace the benefits of new digital solutions and technological advancements, because the future is already here. From basic apps to artificial intelligence and virtual reality, digital tools are helping us work smarter, faster and better. This can enhance quality for patients and help address staff workload. But to get the most from this technology, NHS staff need the right training and support. We're expanding our digital skills training, making sure that people in the NHS, from frontline staff to our leaders, have the knowledge and ability to use technology to improve care. We're also developing new education approaches so that our workforce can use artificial intelligence, precision medicine and genomics so that patients benefit from the latest health breakthroughs. This will support quicker diagnoses and more personalised care. The sixth priority underlines our important role in building compassionate and collective cultures and leadership in NHS Wales. This is vital for staff engagement and well-being, which in turn is vital to the quality of care for our patients and service users. We will continue to expand our range of leadership development programmes, targeted at various groups of leaders, and developing important talent pipelines for future roles. In particular, this will include a board members induction programme, as well as bespoke support for operational managers who are at the very sharp end of helping our clinical teams deliver services. We're also working hard to make sure our future NHS leaders reflect the communities we serve, supporting greater diversity and fairness in our leadership that reflects the communities that we serve in Wales. In collaboration with UK colleagues, we will be introducing a new code of practice and competence framework for all NHS managers over the next few years, recognising their key role in our complex health environment. The next area of work, Priority 7, is focused on the future and recognising that getting the right workforce needs effective planning. Over the last few years, we've worked closely with NHS Wales, social care partners and educators to create strategic workforce plans in key areas, like mental health, genomics, nursing and perinatal care. In many instances, this is the first time a national approach has been taken to developing the workforce in these areas. The focus for the coming year is on implementing these plans to make sure that they add value and impact as quickly as possible. We're also continuing to deliver step-change improvements in how we collect and use workforce data, with the aim of launching a Centre for Workforce Intelligence so that NHS Wales can plan ahead with confidence and precision. Finally, the last priority area, Priority 8, reflects that part of our role in health education and improvement Wales is to bring expert advice, national insight and practical solutions to support Welsh Government develop and implement workforce policy and to work in social partnership to take these forward. So that is a brief summary of the main priority areas in our plan. But if you read the plan itself, it'll tell you a lot more about our core business and how we work. So I'd really like to thank all of our staff, our partners and our stakeholders for their involvement in the development of the plan and for the fact that they've got such an important role to play in how we deliver it. And I'd like to thank you too for taking the time to find out a bit more about HEIW. We are really excited about the opportunities that we have as an organisation to make sure that we've got a workforce ready for the current challenges, but also ready and prepared for our future opportunities. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Thank you very much. Thanks. So that's the video. Obviously, we'll make it available on the website, social media. The way that the video has been constructed, we could actually break it up into bite-sized chunks as well. So obviously, not everybody would necessarily want to watch a 10-minute video, although I think a lot of professional people would find that really interesting. So it's possible to break it up into smaller chunks as well. So just a big thank you to all of the teams involved. I know Sean's team have done a lot of finessing, and I think it's a really good video. Yes,
We had to pay RADA fees.
Some of it was done internally, and a lot of the middle graphics, and then we've used some of the stock. And so yeah, and at the moment we've got a social media campaign on each of our strategic priorities. So as Glyn said, we'll chunk it up into sections and add it through those priorities as we're getting the messages out there about our strategic shifts that we're making.
My initial thoughts were this would be great for all the new assembly members that are going to be coming along, because very few of them have any orientation whatsoever into the structure of the NHS. And I think we should probably send it to each and every civil servant involved in health and social care.
So it's obviously subject to final approval of our IMTP, but we are progressing with the programme work. So there's some time then, I think, to be worked through. But
it'd be very interesting to see what wouldn't be, and I'm aware this is a public meeting, it'd be very interesting to see what wouldn't be approved in an IMTP that's got that perspective. know the future at your peril. Okay. Oh, thank you. Well done, Alex. I thought.
No, well, you know,
It's very good.
it's nothing to do with me. Obviously, everybody else has made that. You know, the animation of that's fantastic, wasn't it? Really? And,
Very good.
It's uplifting
yeah, thank you.
and hopeful. Thank you. Thank you, Glenn. Great. Annual accountability reports. David.
So bydd dyfod iawn ar Cadeirydd, felly adroddiad yn gofyn am gymeradwyaeth ydy hon. Mae'r adroddiad atebolrwydd yn rhoi amynelliad o waith AaGIC yn y maes llywodraethiant dros y blwyddyn 2024-2025. Mae yna 3 prif allan sydd yn yr adroddiad gyntaf datganiad llywodraethu blynyddol. Yn ail, yn adroddiad tal a staff ac yn drydydd yr adroddiad atebolrwydd seneddol a chwilio. Felly, da ni'n gofyn os gwelwch yna bod y bwrdd yn cymeradwyo'r adroddiad llywodraethiant i ddilyn y llywodraeth. Ac wrth gwrs, mae'r adroddiad wedi cael ei ystyried gan y pwyllgor a chwilio wythnos diwethaf ac yn cefnogi'r adroddiad.
So everybody has read this bundle. Are there any comments anybody wishes to make? No. I'm asking you therefore to receive and approve the accountability report for 24-25 for submission to Welsh Government. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Performance report 24-25, David.
Diolch yn fawr Cadeirydd. Felly, y papur wnaeth eto yn gofyn am gymeradwyaeth ydy hon. Mae'r adroddiad yn amlinellu perfformiad AaGIC ar gyfer y blwyddyn 2025. Mae'n braf gallu gadarnhau bod o'n cynnwys cynnydd sylweddol a ddeithgwydd gan y corff o ran cyflawni ein strategaeth ar draws yr ITP. Mae uchafbwyntiau'n cynnwys datblygu a gweithredu yn cynllun addysg a fforddi nifer o strategaethau gweithlu gan gynnwys ymnesydd genomics a nyrsio ac hefyd cynllun cadw neu retention ar gyfer staff. Felly, da ni'n gofyn os gwelwch yn dda, felly bod yn ystyried yr adroddiad ac yn cymeradwyo bod yr adroddiad perfformiad yn cael ei gyflwyno i Llywodraeth Cymru ar y 10 ar 20 o Fehefin.
Yeah, so everybody has read and considered this report, performance report. Are there any comments or questions?
Oh, just an observation. How is this submitted to Welsh Government? Is it a Word document or is it glossy where it's visual?
So, that's good. So at this stage, it would be a Word document. However, at the AGM in September, we will convert it into a glossy document and be formally adopted by the board at the AGM. So at that stage,
Oh, good. I just felt when I was reading it, because it's an awful lot of information, that if it is a glossy, maybe at the front cover, there's a snapshot of a summary of how you've achieved against the strategic objectives. Because I think straight away it gives you focus on delivery, which is what's on the CAFSET's mind. And then obviously they can drill down the detail. I also spotted a typo. I can't remember where it was. I think it was part S and it should be now, not. But I've got it highlighted. I'll flag it to you after this. But yeah, if we could take that on board, because I think that would be quite good. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? So I'm asking you to consider the performance report and approve the performance report for submission to Welsh Government by the 30th of June. Glyn, the final accounts.
Okay, thank you, Chair. It's a pleasure to be able to present the annual accounts of the board today for the 24-25 financial year. First, if I can just say a couple of thank yous to people. I'm going to present the sort of financial results as part of the annual accounts. And I think it's just worth recognising, I think, the hard work of everybody across the organisation in delivering against our priorities, but doing that within the resources that we've got available, and that makes producing the accounts and producing a positive set of accounts at the end of the year so much easier. So I wanted to thank everybody across the organisation for playing their part in doing that, and then also to thank the finance team for producing the accounts. if I just draw out some of the key points within the annual accounts, so we have two statutory financial duties. One is to operate within what's called our revenue resource limit or revenue budget. The second one then is to operate within our capital resource limit or capital budget. And you'll see from the accounts that we've met both of those duties. So we achieved a surplus of 334,000 on our revenue resource limit, and then a small surplus of £23,000 on the capital resource limit. We also have another sort of administrative duty, which is around paying our suppliers on time. So this is called public sector payment policy, and we have to achieve a target of paying at least 95% of our invoices for non-NHS suppliers within 30 days. And you'll see again within the accounts that we achieved 96.9%. So we exceeded that target of 95%, which again is pleasing, and actually it's really important when we talk about contributing to the local foundational economy, that actually is a large NHS body. We pay local businesses and suppliers on a timely basis. That's an important feature, really. In terms of the audit, I'm conscious that Audit Wales colleagues are not here today, so I will sort of cover the audit of accounts report later. But one thing that I wanted to just highlight that we also discussed in the Audit and Assurance Committee last week was, as part of the audit review, there was what was called material misclassification. This was around some expenditure that we incurred on developing some e-learning modules for mental health. It's part of the mental health workforce plan. We'd accounted for these as revenue expenditure. When we reviewed this with Audit Wales team, we agreed with their view that actually this forms what's called an intangible asset. It's something that we developed ourselves, which is quite bespoke, and therefore it meets the definition of what's called an intangible asset, which you then capitalise. And basically that means we have to charge that to our capital budget or revenue resource limit rather than revenue. Given the timescales and everything, that gave us a slight problem around being able to cover that within our resource limits. So we were able to agree with Welsh Government that we would effectively transfer funding from our revenue budget to our capital budget to cover that. There are there's a recommendation in the audit of accounts report that I'll pick up later. But in essence, by making that adjustment, effectively it doesn't alter the reported surpluses that we presented to the audit committee back in April. So they remain the same. So I'm happy to pick up on that later when we go through the audit of accounts report. But really just wanted to bring that to the attention of the board. You'll also see in the audit of accounts report there are a number of sort of what I would probably describe as minor findings in terms of things that we've adjusted for that were material to the accounts. And again, they're set out in the item under 2.6. So really, before I hand back, I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Audit Wales for, again, very constructive way that they work with us in undertaking the audit. The timetable this year was brought forward by a couple of weeks, so it's actually put pressure on the teams to try and do the work more quickly, but also make sure that it's done diligently. And I think both the finance team and Audit Wales team have worked really well to get to a good outcome. And then I'd just like to thank Jane as chair of Audit and Assurance Committee and the Audit and Assurance Committee members for their support and scrutiny, particularly around the annual accounts, which is, I think, important, not only for myself in terms of supporting me and the team, but actually providing that assurance to the board as well. So before we ask the board to actually approve the annual accounts, I'll hand back to you, Chair, so that you can then take agenda item 2.5 And
And
then
we'll come back.
I'm happy to cover item 2.6 then.
Okay. Is that okay with everybody? So, Jane, Chair of Audit and Insurance Committee.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Glyn, for that presentation. As Glyn said, we have considered in detail at Audit and Assurance Committee the accounts and indeed all the supporting papers that are before the board today. We considered them in draft and again when they were in final presentation last week. We have scrutinised them diligently and we are confident in recommending them to the board. Glyn has highlighted the issue around intangible assets, and the Audit and Assurance Committee will be tracking the implementation of the actions recommended by Audit Wales and outlined by management in the reports to the Audit Committee. We welcome the improvement in timeline. We're gradually moving back towards pre-COVID timelines, and I know this places a lot of pressure on the internal team and on Audit Wales, but we have made distinct progress this year in completing this process earlier. I also would like to thank the internal team for their work in producing all these documents and thank both Internal Audit and Audit Wales for the work they do to give us the confidence that we have in recommending this to the board. Thank you all.
Any questions or comments, Jane? No. In that case, then, Glyn, we'll go to agenda item 2.6, which is the Audit Wales Audit of Accounts report.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much, Chair. So this is the report that Audit Wales produced when they've undertaken the audit, and it sets out their approach to how they've undertaken the audit, some of the things that they look for, things like materiality within the accounts as well, and then I suppose importantly, giving their opinion on the accounts. So you can see from the report that they intend to issue what's called an unqualified opinion. That's good. If it's qualified, then they obviously have some concerns about it. So an unqualified opinion is good. Again, they highlight that one significant issue that I mentioned before around the treatment of expenditure as an intangible asset. And you can see that the management response that we put in, I think, not only responds to their recommendation, but I think goes further, because I think importantly, the way that we look at how we spend money on digital sort of resources going forward will require probably a more concerted effort around how we plan for that, how we then secure capital funding, and then how we manage that during the course of the year. So our review and the work that we'll do on that will be to put those arrangements in place more robustly throughout the organisation. I think it was also quite timely that we'd planned, as part of the annual audit plan, to ask internal audit to do a review of our capital programme and capital processes. And again, we'll ask them to focus specifically around making sure that as an organisation, we're in good shape to look at how we manage things like intangible assets as well. So that internal audit, I think, is planned for Q2. And again, that will just help give assurance to board and management that we've got robust processes in place and people are fine with them. The report does set out details of some of our minor amendments. I wasn't planning to go through those unless anybody's got any questions. The one that people may note is that we've reclassified the CODI digital platform as what's called an asset under construction, rather than one that's in operational use, and that was just to reflect, I think, the current position regarding CODI, but it doesn't materially affect the annual accounts. Finally, as part of completing the accounts, there's what's called a letter of representation in the pack. And again, that's just a letter from us confirming the accuracy and the completeness of the accounts information. So again, as part of approving the accounts, we'd be looking to just confirm that the chair and chief executive will sign off that letter of representation on behalf of the board. So I think that's all I really wanted to cover, other than obviously to hand back to you, Chair, and ask that the board approve the recommendation to approve the annual accounts, please.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from board members? No? So we are asked to, following consideration of the Audit Wales Audit of Accounts Report 24-25 and the work done at our Audit and Assurance Committee, I'm asking you to approve the audited accounts for HEIW for 24-25 financial year. Yeah?
Yeah.
And approve that myself and the Chief Exec sign the letter of representation on behalf of the board.
Yes.
I'm asking you to note the audit of accounts report. We've considered the audit of accounts report, and I'm asking you to approve the letter of representation.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, thank you. David, are there any in-committee decisions?
So these are the decisions from the last meeting on the board, and they're just
Okay.
from the last in-committee session.
Okay, right. So that concludes the business for today. I'd like to put on record my thanks to James, Chair of the Audit Committee, and the members for their sterling work, which I had the pleasure of witnessing in their last Audit and Assurance Committee meeting. I'm sure it's something that everybody appreciates. I'd like to thank our team within HEIW, and I'd also very much like to thank our external and internal audit partners. This is really important. I'm very keen that as an organisation that promulgates learning, that we actually learn and develop, and I look forward to more progress. I'm sure we've all got lots to learn, and there's always something new. Intangible assets, that's it. Yeah, it's hard to get a grasp on that. Okay. Thank you very much. Working up on that one. Yeah. So, so with that, I will close today's meeting. I just want to ask one question. So, has there been any substantive change to the corporate risk register since the last board meeting?
It was considered, so that there is a summary. So compared to this meeting today, it's considered the annual report.
I understand that.
There's a summary of all the rest of the last year in that report. But with regards to your question specifically, we did consider the corporate risk register yesterday. I guess insurance gives a, but I don't believe there's any new risk added, and there certainly was no increase in the risk that were previously reported to the
and the wording used in the corporate risk register that we highlighted in the last board meeting, has it been amended?
Yes. Right. That was done in December.
Okay. I just think, seeing this as an open board meeting, it's just important that we follow that through. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. The date of the next meeting of the HEIW board development session is going to be held today. Following this meeting, the board meeting will be an open board meeting will be held on the 31st of July 25, and another development session will be held on the 28th of August. Thank you very much, everybody. Diolch yn fawr pawb. Hwyl nawr.
Thank you.